Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Federal government suspends blasting activities in some communities in Abuja after reports of earth tremor. National Emergency Management Agency NEMA and the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency raised fresh alarm over impending threats of flood in states close to River Niger and Benue. Former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekaru returns to the ruling All Progressives Congress ahead of the 2019 general elections. And Russian President Vladimir Putin kicks against truce as Syria prepares an all-out assault on last rebel stronghold, Idlib province. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you. And at youtube.com/channelsweb, you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from your respective stores. Besides giving you access to news and updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can use to share us pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. And to some pictures and videos that you have sent in, we begin in Jumo Akiremi at Alimosho local government area of Lagos State with this image showing flood taking over this home. According to our eyewitness reporter, no part of the home is spared of the flood. It is the same thing outside of the home too, where the whole area is flooded. Our eyewitness reporter laments how residents were thrown into the cold by the flood, which chased them out of their homes, unfortunately so too. Next is this image from Okwebi Link Road and Mobolaji Bank Anthony area in Ikeja, the Lagos State capital, showing this video of a gridlock. Our eyewitness reporter says that the gridlock lasted several hours. According to him, people going to work had to use motorcycles as alternatives. He blames the traffic jam on the vehicle which broke down close to the post office. Our final image is from Uwolabo village in Kogi State, north-central Nigeria, showing this effect of gully erosion on the community. Our eyewitness laments over what has become of the community, which she says was once beautiful. She's raising concerns over what could happen if this is not addressed urgently. We thank you for sending these stories in. And please note that your stories too can fly if you download the Channels Television's free app and follow the instructions. As promised, we're now being joined on the news at 10 by Mr. Sadiq Ibrahim, who is a member of the House of Representatives Committee on Environment, to look at the warnings by the various agencies and what can be done to mitigate the impact of flooding that have been reported. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the news at 10. Now, before the latest warnings by the NIHSA and NEMA, there has been several warnings, as a matter of fact, beginning from years of increased rainfalls. The latest we're seeing right now. How prepared would you say the nation is for such an impending circumstance?
Well, thank you for having me. Let me begin by saying that flooding has been a perennial thing happening to this country year in, year out. But for me, the federal government is never prepared for this kind of thing, even though we know that it has been happening time and time again. We know for the past 40 years, it's a common knowledge that climate change is a fact. And climate change is caused as a result of natural forces and man-made activity in the environment. So with this background, we all know, or people that are in the flood-prone areas know that anytime they tamper with the environment, such a thing will happen. And it has been happening. Let's begin with the government. The fault is that of the federal government, the state government, and the local government. If you look at anywhere this kind of things happen, because we have to segregate the two types of floods. We have to segregate the floods around the rivers Niger and Benue, and the floods in cities, that is urban areas. There are two different things. The floods in our these two giant rivers that bestride Nigeria, Niger and Benue, they usually come geographically, O-level geography, that every water comes from the highlands to the lowlands. Therefore, waters, if you take the Niger, for instance, waters from Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Katsina, they all pour into streams and eventually into the River Niger. And then waters from Benue, from the source of the River Benue in Cameroon, it also flows. Then we have rivers that flow into River Niger. For instance, in Adamawa State, where I know very well, we have River Faro in my local government. River Kilange is there, also in my local government of Ufore. It comes down to River Pambambi, River Beti. It goes down to River Chochi, goes down to River Gongola. Then in Taraba State, you have River Ibi. All these rivers have their sources from the highlands, the Mandara Mountains, the Vere Mountains, and then the Gembu Mountains. They all come, join streams, and into the River Benue. The same thing with the mountainous areas of Kogi, Kwara, and Niger. So
because
we have three dams.
My apologies, if you just allow me to butt in so we can have a back and forth conversation about this, because you are in the thick of things and the know about what actually is happening. Now that the red flag has been raised again, coupled with increased rainfall, how can the impact be brought to a barest minimum, since you say that these are natural occurrences and will continue to happen?
Yeah, one, the issuing of warning to communities, but in good time, is absolutely the best thing that can make the communities move from the lower lands to the highlands, so that they can avoid disasters. But then, the fault of the states and local governments is that of allowing people to build in the lowlands. These are areas that are known to be flooded year in, year out. Local government continue to give permits for people to build. The state government look the other way when people are building in those areas. And we cannot continue to spend investable funds on compensating people who deliberately and allowed by the government to continue to build in those areas. So the first thing to do is to issue warning. But the most important thing is to prevent people from killing themselves or from dissipating energy and expropriating themselves of the monies that are supposed to be invested and create jobs for numerous young people that have no jobs. So if as a government we lay back and see people building in those areas, and local government gives a permit, or state governments give them a permit, or without permits, government look at them doing so, they don't care, and then you issue the warnings, it doesn't really help. So the two things that must be done, to answer your question frontally, is number one, we should try as much as possible to prevent people from building in areas that are prone to floods. And number two is to issue timely warnings for people to evacuate from those areas that are prone. Unfortunately, most of our people, they don't believe when NIHSA issue those warnings. They don't believe, because those warnings may or may not happen. But invariably, like what has happened in the year 2012, and what is going to happen this year, people should take issues serious. Where the people do not take serious, government should move in and force people out of those areas that are prone to floods.
I most sincerely thank you, even though we have an understanding that the previous government, when this happened in 2012, actually tried to help as many people as possible through the state agencies to try to see that succor gets to the people. And also, we also saw philanthropists coming forward to try to bring out a master plan, regionally based, to address the concerns of flooding in the country. Many thanks indeed for talking to us, Mr. Sadiq Ibrahim, who's a member of the House of Representatives Committee on the Environment. Some indigents of Borno State have collectively purchased an APC governorship nomination form for Mr. Idris Mamman from Southern Borno. According to them, this is the first time any interest would be shown from anyone from Southern Borno, as the form was purchased in the spirit of brotherhood. They believe that Idris, a chartered accountant and a technocrat, has the right qualities for an opportunity granted the people of Southern Borno.
With the release of timetables by political parties and just 161 days until the general elections, hardly a day goes by without candidates flocking the various party secretariats to pick up nomination forms. These are indigents from northern Borno State, and they are here at the national headquarters of the All Progressives Congress, APC, to purchase a governorship nomination form for Mr. Idris Maman, a native of southern Borno.
Our people have contributed, like the one they did to the president, monies to buy form to Idris Maman. So I am going to present the forms to chairman of the Southern Borno Forum, who is our sister zone in the state, to hand over to him to take it to our candidate so that they will fill the form and return. And there have been a lot of complaints that the people of Southern Borno are marginalized. Nobody has marginalized anybody. Nobody has come out to say he is looking for governorship until today.
He hands the form to the chairman, Movement of Southern Borno Rotation for Power, who explains the significance of the gesture.
It's a major significance. You cannot win an election without carrying everybody along. And this time around, they are the ones who even contributed to buy the form. And there's nothing better than that. That's brotherhood. The only thing that had happened in the past is we did not come out to say we wanted it. Now we said we want it, and they said, look, you can have it if you'll bring some good candidates. He is a qualified chartered accountant, and he has risen up to the position of a director in the ministry, in the federal ministry. Therefore, he is somebody who is highly qualified.
So far, there have been 6 governors in Borno State, 3 from Central Borno and 3 from Northern Borno. This is the first time anyone from Southern Borno would be contesting for the position of governor in the state.
When the news at 10 returns, the University of Ibadan renames its hostels and conference center after Otumba Shubomi Balogun ahead of its 70th anniversary. That's some business news. Join us again.